up there with Dune 2 and Deadpool 3, there is a movie I've been waiting for a very long time. Now, The Highlander, the original one with Sean Connery, Christopher Lambert, Clancy Brown, Who Wants to Live Forever, with the Queen soundtrack, of course, is in my top 10 favorite films of all time. I love that movie passionately. We won't talk about all the other movies that came after it, but that one is great. Now, Ryan Reynolds, good Canadian kid, was supposed to be doing a Highlander reboot. He was attached to one for years, and then that kind of fell away. Then a little while ago, they announced that the director, John Wick, and Superman himself, Henry Cavill, were going to be making a Highlander reboot. Now, Chad Stahelski just recently announced that it is his next movie. That's the next one they're gearing up for. He's getting ready to shoot. And now Henry Cavill has kind of chimed in a little bit. He's out there, of course, promoting Argyle right now. And, of course, a lot of people are asking him about this Highlander thing, and he's already begun his training for it. This comes to us from the folks at Deadline who write the following. Targeted with a 2026 release date, Henry Cavill will have been attached to the film for 5 years before anybody lays eyes on it. But after a lengthy development, the star says he is getting ready to train for the iconic new role. Cavill teased that his take on the part will be, quote-unquote, a serious ride. This comes as he's been saying in other interviews that he has started his workout routine to get into shape. Yeah, Henry. Actually, take down my picture on there for a second.
Okay.
Henry, I've been meaning to tell
you. About to show you some guns.
You've been getting too friendly with cake lately. Okay. You and Cake have been spending clearly far too much time together.
You must be building some big-ass computers.
Yeah, get yourself back into shape, Henry. That he's been getting himself into shape for the film, but beyond that, he is staying quiet. Now, the director of the film has already kind of said that, yeah, it's going to be kind of going to be John Wick with swords, which some people rolled their eyes at, not me. I'm like, that's exactly what I want. Thank you. Give me some more, please. And hearing Henry also talking about that it's going to be a serious ride. They said they wanted to take and honor the original mythology, but really ramp it up with modern action telling techniques and stuff like that, which sounds great to me. I would love to see Henry Cavill. I cannot wait to see Henry Cavill just walk around the streets of New York with a sword taking off fools' heads. I cannot wait.
You know, him saying that he's starting training, it reminds me of that one night I was watching The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, and Mahershala Ali was on there. And he said, I've begun my training on Blade.
Yeah, that was like 3 years ago?
Yep. So let's hope that this movie doesn't have the same fate.
Fall by the wayside. But I mean, again, Chad's already said, this is my next film. This is now what I'm focused on. This is what we're doing next. The studio's already confirmed it. Actually, Chad has signed on with Lionsgate, signed a really neat deal where he not only now is the Kevin Feige of their John Wick universe, he's now shepherding the entire John Wick universe, but he's also, they appoint him to be the shepherd of the entire Highlander universe. So you know that Lionsgate at this point has more than just this movie in mind. They want this to be a franchise. They want this thing to be sprawling and big and really live up to those promises that Chad and Henry are kind of making for it, and I cannot wait. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Factor. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery store and prep work because you know what? Sometimes we just don't feel like prepping our own meals. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Forget frantic lunch preps and rushed dinners. Factor's 2-minute meals are your secret weapon in the new year. Fuel up fast with restaurant-quality meals, all delivered right to your door. And Factor now offers loads of snack options like breakfast, smoothies, juices, snacks, and more to keep me going no matter what's on the schedule. It's time to skip the overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. And Factor is flexible. Change your order up every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week, or pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. So guys, head to factormeals.com/Campea50 and use the code Campea50 to get 50% off. That's code Campea50 at factormeals.com/Campea50 to get 50% off. Anyway, Chris, hear Henry Cavill saying this thing's going to be a serious ride. He's begun his training for it. I'm assuming there's a lot of sword play involved that he's going to be training himself for. how quickly, like, are they going to make this 2026 release date? Is this something people should be excited about? Is it something you're excited about? What do you think?
I still need to know what Highlander is.
Oh, you still haven't watched the original?
I still haven't watched it. It's so weird when you do this and run a business and audition, you don't watch other movies.
Right.
So I still need to watch this so I know what it's all about. That being said, I assume these are going to be incredibly intricate sword fights based on the footage I have seen and what I know of the universe here. And especially when you have somebody like Henry, who was doing all of his own stunt work for the most part on Witcher, doing that swordplay himself, doing vigorous training. I love that he's still stepping it up and he's going to really, really deliver on this, because I assume this also has a bigger budget than the Witcher television show. So I think we can anticipate this. My understanding is it's not a particularly effects-heavy franchise. Is that correct?
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Except
then
for when the quickening happens, but that's
when you cut the
momentary.
dog's nails too short.
Yeah, the quickening.
Okay. Yeah, I figured. Yeah. So we could see this in 2026 if it all is pretty much something that we are doing there, and there's very little post for it. But I like Henry Cavill.
Yeah. And with you brought up Chad Stileski is given like the reins to this franchise. As a fan, where do you want to see this go?
Well, see, here's the interesting thing about it. Unlike other old franchises that get later reboot, where there's a clear roadmap, right? You throw out everything Highlander that wasn't the original movie, because everything that came after the first movie was just garbage. All due respect to the television series with Adrian Paul, I think that's who starred in the Highlander TV series. That was actually not bad. I kind of like that.
But the movie they made with it was like,
oh, the movie they made with it was not good. Yeah. No, not at all. But the series itself was pretty interesting, and I kind of liked it. But you kind of throw out everything else. Again, I do think you have a... What was Adrian Paul's character's name again? Duncan, that's right. So you got Henry Cavill's going to be Connor MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. In the TV show, Adrian Paul played Connor's cousin, Duncan MacLeod. You could still have a Duncan MacLeod in this, but I think you just have that. You do the original movie, you end the original movie with Highlander versus the Kurgan and whatever, and then it's really an open book. They can go in any direction they want, because not only do they not have to follow the roadmap of Highlanders 2 and 3 and 4, they absolutely essentially must avoid the roadmaps of Highlander 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. For those of you who don't know Highlander, and you wonder why I'm so passionate about this, here's the thing. The basic gist of the Highlanders, of the Highlander, and it's literally about where he's from. He's from the Scottish Highlands. That's why he's called the Highlander. He dies in battle one day, hundreds of years ago, and then wakes back up to discover that there is a small number of immortals in the world who have been born throughout the ages. And the only way they can really die is to be beheaded by another immortal. And when one immortal beheads another, he takes their experiences, their power, they get stronger. It's called the quickening, right? And they don't explain in the movie why, but all immortals know that they are destined to fight throughout the ages until one day, sometime in the future, they're all going to feel an inexplicable pull to go to a faraway land where they will all come together and battle until there is only one. There can be only one immortal, and that immortal wins what's called the prize, that the immortals don't know what the prize is, but they know they're all fighting for the prize. Why I hate the sequel so much is because some idiot decided, you know what we should do? Let's say the immortals are aliens. They're aliens from another planet.
Why you gotta have a vaguely Chicagoan dialect there, John? Why you gotta talk about the bears?
And they're criminal aliens. And being sent to Earth to become immortal is like their prison. And then Michael Ironside is really upset that these criminals are doing things, and oh my God, it's just so bad. And then Highlanders 3 and onwards, to their benefit, pretended like Highlander 2 didn't happen, but still, it was pretty bad.
Well, go ahead.
No, the reason why I asked you about where do you see this going is because with John Wick, remember, the Continental series came out on Peacock, right?
Right.
But that was more of an afterthought. Like, they didn't know John Wick was going to get that popular, and then they made the series. Right here, they could take control of this series right from this franchise right from the get-go, and possibly release a TV series on Peacock to coincide with the movies.
That would be a big mistake.
With Duncan but like they did with this.
Right. But here's why that would be a mistake.
Uh-huh.
Because a little studio called Universal had that same idea with their monster universe, where they got ahead of themselves. Now, you want to make some plans, sure, but remember what Universal did. Before The Mummy even came out, they were announcing like 5 films and brought all their stars. They already cast all the stars of these films, you know, Russell Crowe and Johnny Depp and Javier Bardem and blah. They did these photo shoots, they're advertising all this. And then the first movie came out, and the public, while I think it's not as bad as people make it out to be, yeah, there's that. Yeah, Tom Cruise.
That movie was expensive. That franchise was expensive.
It was going to be expensive.
Yeah, to begin with. So.
But they put out the first movie, and on large, the audience rejected it. And then all of a sudden, they looked so stupid because they had been talking about all these things they're going to do. It's cool for Lionsgate to make some plans, but likes to say, let's put in $30 million and produce an entire TV series to come out and coincide with the launch of the movie and blah, blah. Get the first movie out first. Right? Have your plans ready. Be ready to go into action, but get that first movie out first and make sure it's received well, because every movie that gets made, when they start production, everybody thinks they have a great movie on their hands. It isn't until later that you really find out where you're at. And so while I'm excited for a Highlander franchise, the reality is you got to get this first one under your belt and make sure people like it, or else they're going to look stupid. And the reality is Lionsgate is not Warner Brothers. Lionsgate is not Disney. They don't have money that they can just burn, right? So one step at a time. And then if the first one works, then you got the green light.
That was mainly my main question.
Then develop a TV series to go along, maybe bring in a Duncan MacLeod. Then you can relaunch, change the mythology with the Highlander 2. So
got it.
Yeah, we'll see where they go with that. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.